What's going on, guys? This is Big Jolly Gaming, and I'm back today with some Battlefield 3 action. Now today we're using the M240 Bravo or the M240B. You wouldn't think this gun would be very effective in close quarters or in a run and gun type of play style, but I'm telling you, this gun is an absolute beast. So today we're going to be talking about some of the different setups you can use with this gun and how they suit various play styles. I'll also discuss with you some of the footage along the way and talk about some of the things that I could have done differently to enhance my survivability and to help my team. I know we all have certain setups and attachments we like to use for each gun, but it's always important to consider the play style when choosing those attachments. So you want to give yourself the advantage in gunfights and be mindful to put yourself in situations that play to the strengths of your weapon. So much of being an effective Battlefield player is based on adapting to the needs of your team to win the match. And on certain maps like Operation Metro, like you see here, you may see that the enemy team is grouped up in a room, or the team is at a standstill. And you'll notice that I go in here, I take out this room of people. That one guy that is left, and he had about 4% health. I can't imagine if he picked up an assault kit in that room and revived everyone. But be mindful of what is going on around you, and it helps to know the map so that you know those flanking routes. You can get behind the enemy team and mow down entire squads before they even know that you're there. This gun does 34 damage a bullet within 8 meters, and it shoots 650 rounds a minute, so you can down enemies almost instantly. In these situations, you may want that extended mag to have 200 rounds in your magazine, go into a room hip firing, and absolutely light up the kill feed. Now, I really recommend hip firing with this weapon in close range engagements because aiming down sights takes a little over a quarter second, which is a long time in a gunfight. Also, taking on multiple enemies, you need to be conscious of the time it takes to switch your sights from one enemy to the next, and that speed is reduced when aiming down sights depending on which sight you're using. It's not that way with all of them, but some more than others, and the hip fire on this gun is already insane. Just take advantage of that, play to the strengths of this weapon. So the extended mag can be effective if you're going for those flanking routes and trying to take out multiple enemies at once. But what if you're the type of player that wants to take on people head to head, face to face, and run and gun type of play style? Then I highly recommend the flash suppressor, especially at these medium to longer ranges. Once you unlock this attachment and start using it, you'll immediately notice how effective it is for dropping people at medium ranges. Even though you have less rounds, it starts to feel like you're running with an assault rifle or a carbine, but with 100 rounds in the magazine. I know that sounds crazy, but to master this gun, you have to discipline yourself. That's the difficult part. You have to discipline yourself to not hold down that trigger as much. You have to burst fire this weapon to keep that bullet deviation and that recoil in check. I want to show you an in-game situation when using this gun. Now, I'm playing Conquest Grand Bazaar. We just captured C, and I know that most of my team is going to go down the alleyway and take the enemies head on, trying to take over B. And you know how crucial it is to have B on this map. So I'm faced with a decision here. Now, I'm flanking around. I could go straight and I could go for A, or I could take this left because I know that my team is fighting from C to B. That's where the fight's going to be. So if I take this left, I would be coming up behind the enemies and I would be helping my team push for that objective. Now, I want you to look at the mini-map here. I'm going to freeze frame on this. You see that the enemies have their backs turned toward me. So this is what you want to see when using this gun. I have extended mag on, 200 rounds in the magazine. I'm going to talk about some of the things that went right with this and also some of the things that went wrong. Right here, so far so good. But I didn't know at the time this guy actually got that revive off. That guy laying prone on my left, he is alive at this point. And right here, I should be charging forward. Instead, I backed up. I exposed myself to more angles of exposure to be shot, and I should have charged this guy. I take out the guy in front of me, but what happens, the guy that got revived just a second ago, he ends up being the one that takes me out, and the assault runs right by me. You know the feeling. But, right here, I spawn at A. Why? Because I know that I will be coming up behind the enemies if I spawn there. Maybe a little bit longer of a walk, but I'm helping my team. I could have handled this situation better because I start shooting from left to right, and what people do is they duck behind that little corner on the right and take cover. I noticed that there's a med pack on my left. I tried to stay close to that med pack to enhance my survivability, to constantly be getting healed. What happens is they start to revive each other. Most people on this map, you know, go assault and they start to revive each other. But I have a friend there with an M240B as well, and he finishes them off. So we had a team effort there. We kept B as a result. Now I want to talk about some of the stats on this weapon. If you've ever been to Simthic.com, you know this is an incredible website for checking out weapon stats and comparisons. And just to give a little bit of info on this gun, we've already said that it's 650 rounds a minute. That just doesn't seem like much when you compare it to assault rifles and all that, but you have a higher damage output. It's insane how fast you can drop people. Now, with the M249, it's one of my top 3 or 4 guns, okay? But even with its higher rate of fire, I want you to check out the differences in the time to kill. I'm going to show you a chart here in just a second. The M240B has an equal or greater time to kill at any range. So these are the strengths of the M240B. The high damage output mixed with the rate of fire make for an incredible weapon, but what are the weaknesses? The weakness is the recoil, but we see the potential here. If we can manage the recoil, this would be an absolute death machine, right? So let's go to Simthic.com. Let's look at some of the stats. I can tell a big difference by the gameplay alone, but let's look at actual stats on what the foregrip and the flash suppressor do for this weapon. So when using the foregrip and the flash suppressor together, I found that it more than halves the vertical recoil. Also, the side-to-side recoil goes from 0.5 left and 0.5 right to 0.4 left and 0.4 right, which puts it on par with the M249 there. But the first shot recoil with the M249 is 2.2. The first shot recoil with the M240B is 1.7. So what does that mean? When you're burst firing, that first shot is not going to jump as high, and that makes for good burst firing. So I encourage you to take the time to grind it out, try to unlock the foregrip and the flash suppressor, and try them in a run and gun type of play style and see how they work for you. Try it before you knock it, okay? I know a lot of people may disagree with some of the things that I'm saying about the gun, but I promise it worked really well for me, and I believe it will work well for others, and I believe it's an underused gun. Maybe you've seen it a lot. Maybe you say it's overused. I just, in my experience, haven't seen it a whole lot. And I left a comment on another YouTuber's video the other day asking to see the gun reviewed, and it got a lot of negative feedback. I'm not quite sure why, if people just aren't interested in the gun, or if maybe it's overused. Maybe people have seen it a lot, but I definitely believe that it is an incredible weapon, and I don't see it a whole lot on here, so I encourage you to try it out in a lot of different situations, see what works for you, and I hope that some of the tips I've given can help you in your gameplay. I want to talk about one more tip in using this gun. Something that I found to be helpful is choosing the right squad perk. Now, I don't know what is going on, but I've seen a lot of support guys running with squad ammo lately. Maybe that's something that is typical for others. I personally give out ammo all the time. I'm constantly throwing out ammo, so I don't really feel that squad ammo is a necessary perk when I'm throwing out ammo everywhere and at every given opportunity. So one of the things that I found to be effective when using this gun, however, is squad cover or squad suppression. Personally, I prefer squad cover. What that does is it cuts the suppression effect on yourself in half. That means that more of your bullets are going to hit on target. You're limiting your bullet deviation, and using squad suppression, that means that you're adding to the suppression that you're putting out on others by 50%. And using this gun, you'll find that you're already dishing out a ton of suppression on your enemies, and you often will just overwhelm them with suppression alone. But I found that the best squad perk to use, in my experience, has been squad cover. Why? Because I know the weaknesses of this gun, the bullet deviation, the recoil, and this fixes some of those weaknesses, and it makes for a better all-around weapon, better experience. And right now I want to talk about the sights. And a lot of us have personal preferences on which sights we like to use with which guns. I like to use the Cobra on some. I like to use the Reflex Red Dot on others. Those are some of my favorite sights in the game. But with this, I found that the holographic sight helps me have a more well-rounded weapon, because if I'm in close to medium range, I'm going to be hip firing most of the time. And I found that the holographic sight gives me more of that zoom that I need to take on some of those enemies at medium to long range engagements. Ultimately, in talking about the M240B today, I'm not even necessarily trying to hype the gun or anything like that. I'm really just sharing with you some of the things that have made for some more successful, more enjoyable matches on the battlefield for myself, for my team. Ultimately, just know your role. If you're support, throw out that ammo for your team. Use that C4, take on vehicles, and don't think that the M240B is just good for bipoding up and playing a more supportive role. It is good for that. If you want to slap on that bipod extended mag and have at it, it's a great time and you can serve your team in that way. But if you have more of a run and gun type of play style, grind it out, unlock these attachments. Whether you use the foregrip and the extended mag or the foregrip and the flash suppressor, I challenge you to try both of them. See what works for you. It may be different. But and it's a fun little C4 moment right there. But ultimately, just adapt to the role that is required of you in the game. If you have to take those flanker routes to help your team push for that objective, do it. And that's something that this gun can help you do. If you're at a standstill, I really recommend trying to break this gun out and make something happen. Go in there, hit fire like crazy, and you'll have a good time in the process. Now, in giving a channel update, I've put out a few videos this week. I'm going to try to put out some more as soon as possible, but I will say that I'm about to go on my anniversary vacation, about to head to the beach for a little bit, have a good time, soak it up in the sun. But first, I got these exams, and it's killing me writing a lot of essays, doing papers right now. So I'm going to do as much as I can, but I hope you guys got something from this video, learned something, and I hope it makes for a more enjoyable experience on the battlefield for you guys. If you have any kind of feedback or things that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments. I read all of the comments, and I'll try to reply to as many as I possibly can. I'm very excited about the in-game DLC coming out, and I'm on PS3, so I get a little bit early, but I'm planning on doing some map reviews and stuff like that for you guys to highlight the DLC. If there's anything specific you would like to see in that coverage, please let me know in the comments and like it so I'll know exactly what it is that you guys want in that coverage, and I'll be glad to do that for you guys. And hopefully the release date will go well with my vacation. Like I said, I'll be out of town some of March, but they haven't set an actual release date on it yet, but hopefully they will soon, so I can figure out if I'm going to be able to do coverage before or after. But I'll be sure to have some coverage for you guys as soon as I possibly can. So subscribe if you want to stay updated on that coverage, and I look forward to producing that, and I can't wait to play it. You may have noticed that this is the M249 in this particular clip. I included that so you can listen to the difference in the rate of fire, and I played it in a similar situation as I have been with the M240B, and I wanted to compare the two. I prefer the M240B, but it's a personal preference, and but I encourage you to try this gun. That's all for me, guys. I'm going to play out the rest of this footage that I have. I had to more than half a lot of this footage, but I wanted to show it to you in some different situations in this game, and I hope you enjoyed. Talk to you later, YouTube.
Knocking at my door. Yes, I know what they are here for. They kick it in, run inside, kidnap my wife. This is goodbye. I see hate inside your eyes, my God, and you do despise. If this prayer's my last time, hope through this he saves your life. I will never hide, I will never run. I will sacrifice my life in the name of the Son. Beat me to the ground, I see the glory of the Lord. This the moment that we all been waiting for. Let him stab me, burn me, you are worthy. Drown me, storm me, lose me, hardly the pain I bear cannot compare to the arms once I get down.
So I'll be your voice, suffering daily, but still we rejoice. Out for your glory, just telling your story. We'll carry the cross. You suffer before me. People don't know you, so I'll be the one to introduce them to your glorious side. Until that day when we see your face, this race we will run, inspired by love. We'll drink from this cup.
Sin, a state of men, dirt and filth they lay within. Sacrifice they need to live, so I'll go down and walk with them. They'll reject me, disrespect me, laugh and mock me as they test me. Send the guards to come arrest me. I know that they won't accept me. Thorns on my head, nails in my hands, but for the Father and His glory I will take this cross. Cup full of wrath pouring on my head. I will take every single drop to atone for the lost. Let them whip me, curse me,